Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here today with you again and to have Sherry as our host one more time. Sherry is as an associate director in the University of Manchester. She has been working there for 10 years, right? And
Yeah.
has a long experience in investments in real estate and AI. So I'm sure that the content that you see here will be very, very useful. And Sherry, feel free to go.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Philip. And good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see you today here. So we are going to take 30 minutes right about to have an overview of the AI tools in property management. So my name is Yishang Xu, and you can just call me Sherry. I work at University of Manchester, and I got interested in AI and find it quite useful sometimes in our work. So let me share some of my insights. So today we are going to have a look at the current state of property management. So what actually annoys us the most, and see the challenges and see why AI can help us. And then I'll show a few aspects that AI tools can be applied in our routine work. So help us to be more efficient and effective and more accurate. And then, of course, we can never forget about the considerations and use AI with cautions. And then if we still have time and if you have any questions, then you can ask me. So without any further ado, let's have a look at the current state of property management and see what actually are the pain points in this kind of work. So there are several work at the area of property management work that is can be the pain points in our daily work. It's not like they are uh, uh, really painful or something like we don't want to do. It's, it means that if you're doing it completely manually, it's very time consuming and quite boring and also need a lot of labor and hours. But with AI's help, it can be improved. So let's have a look at these aspects. For example, the tenant screening, which is a time consuming process. Maintenance scheduling, sometimes it can be too early or too late or a little bit costly. And rent collection, the annoying process, and vacancy management. So those kind of jobs that, of course, we can do it manually. In the past several decades, we did it manually already. But right now, with AI's help, like I just mentioned, we can do it more efficiently and save our time and our labor to do something more meaningful. So let's take tenant screening, for example. In our practice, each application screening can take about maybe 2 to 4 hours of the manual work because we have to manually check all the documentations and verify them whether it's true or not. For example, the pay slips, the references, the credit reports, employment history of each tenant. If it's residential, if it's commercial, it might be even more complicated. So in reality, the popular properties can actually receive maybe over 50 applications at a time, which actually created overwhelming workload for us. And there are some high risks in bad decision as well. For example, if we rent a property to a bad tenant or the tenant which is very likely to default in the future, then we might lose the rent, the legal fees, and damage the property as well. And human bias and fatigue also create some inconsistent screening standards. Maybe today, this team has this kind of standard, and the next week, the other team or several other colleagues have another kind of standards for the tenant screening. So it's not consistent all the time as what AI can do. And also, in terms of the legal compliance, there are some risks because of this kind of inconsistent screening standards. We might violate the fair housing rules due to the subjective decision making. So that creates a huge administrative burden for us, for the and every practitioner actually. And we need to manage mountains of documents, the paperwork, the application, the background checks, and also need to follow up through the communications, chasing the missing documents and scheduling viewings and coordinating the references and receive it, which is not right. Maybe we need to check again. all this kind of work are very intensive and also time consuming. And this can be done by AI. And very similar for the maintenance scheduling and rent collection and vacancy management. Then here is the reason that why AI is more suited to address all these challenges. Because AI is very good at identifying the patterns. As long as there is a pattern, they are very good at identifying it. The larger the data set, the better. So they can actually analyzing all this data much better than human does, and they wouldn't miss too much. And they are very good at predicting as well. The predictive capability of AI actually help them to anticipate the problem before the problem arises. And of course, as we all know, the AI can work 24/7. So it's a 24/7 automation, eliminate the time zone constraints. For example, sometimes some tenants might be overseas and we need to arrange the meetings that which doesn't suit our time zone and etc. But the communications with AI or the chatbot wouldn't be interrupted by those. And there can be some limitations for the human availabilities and staffing. But with AI's help, that gap can actually be filled. And there will be a very consistent level of the service quality to be delivered without any fatigue or human error. And as we just mentioned, AI can process data at scale. So as human being, we hope to deal with smaller scale of data because it's easier. But as AI, actually, they are good at dealing with large scale of the data so that they can recognize the pattern and analyze it. They can analyze maybe thousands of tenants' application, maintenance records, market data simultaneously so that they can make the right decision based on very comprehensive data rather than limited samples. That is a huge improvement than human beings. And of course, to mention about the efficiencies, it helps us to reduce the manual labor costs while improving the accuracy. And also it can help us to scale our operations without proportionally increasing the staffing. So it saves us cost. And here are some AI adoption trends in property management. So overall, as a market, PropTech are expected to reach maybe 87, 86 billion by 2032, as estimated by some consulting firm. And among that, actually at the moment, the application of AI in real estate are quite significant. According to the survey, 35% of property management companies have already used AI to some extent. Of course, some of them might use ChatGPT to answer some questions or to ask some questions. Some of them might be more advanced, but to some extent, more than a third of all the companies have already used it. And the most commonly applications are here, for example, the communications. So we can have a 24/7 chatbot or customer service for the tenant. AI also help to predict the maintenance, to schedule it, to try to use AI and machine learning pattern to analyze the market and to make the dynamic pricing for the place. And also, as we mentioned in another webinar, it can do some risk assessment as well. And there are strong industrial drivers for this trend as well. For example, the shortage of labor in property management sector, and also the rising tenant expectations for the digital services. They want some kind of in-person communications of course, but also they want convenience. They want all standby services, which can only be delivered through digital services, and they would really like that. And there are also some pressures to optimize the operational cost to, of course, to boost the ROA or ROI of the company. And we also need to make the data-driven decision because as we have comprehensive data set, we can make more accurate decisions than why not. So these are the drivers that actually push us to use AI in our daily work. And here I just want to showcase a few AI tools in different aspects in property management to help you to get a picture about how we can use it. It's not only ChatGPT, it seems, especially in property management. We have much more than the chatbot or question and answers. We have this AI-powered background checks platforms help us to do the tenant screening and risk assessment. For example, the Smart Move by TransUnion, I think they merged together. It's an AI-enhanced credit and background screening. And Rent Spree as well is still try to score the applicant's credit through the machine learning process. And also this Tenant Turner, which actually automates the prospect qualification. So all this help us to check the tenant. And also there are some other tools help us to communicate with the tenant, which simply put it are the chatbots, for example, to handle the inquiries 24/7, and also can help us to schedule the rent reminders or other messages to automatically send them to the tenants or the updates of the maintenance, etc. And also it can automate all the email workflows, for example, the lease renewal sequence, the move-in process, how it's going on, and when you can do what. So all this work that we need to draft and send back manual, now we can actually automate it. So once you set it up, you can forget about it. So that is what we can benefit from them. And also use the machine learning model to have the predictive analytics for the tenant retention is one another application in tenant management, especially for the commercial properties. Tenant retention is very important, and we can use large scale of data and machine learning to do it as well. Oh, by the way, I'll share the slides later so that you can tap on those links to see how it works, how this platform looks like. And another aspect would be the maintenance and operation, which of course combined a lot more. It's not robot, but it's some equipment, for example, the sensors. We can use the IoT, Internet of Things sensors plus AI to predict the maintenance and schedule it, because it helps us to monitor the whole building, how it works, for example, the havoc, any leaks or any flaws, or the energy consumption. So there are some equipment already here to help us to do the prediction of the maintenance. And also it can help us to automate work order management, all this planning in the maintenance or the building or repairing, the planning, the scheduling, and the monitoring. We can put it all in one place. So these are some platforms help us to get the workflow more smoothly. And I think the biggest part of the operation, let's say, is the energy efficiency or energy optimization. So there are also some AI-powered or machine learning-powered energy optimization system on the market as well. So they can do the heating and electricity, and also try to monitor the occupancy and manage the lighting and havoc usage as well. So all these are more physical part of the property management work, but we can also use AI to do it. I'm sorry. And the other part is more intangible. It's like financial management in our property management work regime. So we have to have a valuation of the rent so that we can give the rent and then negotiate the rent with the tenant. So here we have a few platforms help us to do the dynamic pricing for the rent, because it can embed all the market data into the analysis and the modeling, so that we can have a real-time market analysis for pricing, for example, from Rent Spree, or have some valuation with the AI-powered analysis. And there is also another platform called RentBerry. So it's an auction-based dynamic pricing for renting a place. So it makes it a little bit like Uber in the early stage. Anyway, it just helped the actually helped both sides, both the landlord and the tenant. You will say that, oh, it might rise the rent, so it's not good for the tenant. But when the market is going down, it also helps the tenant to find the most optimized rent as well. So those platforms actually can help you to get the nominal rent, or say the valuation of the rent, closer to the market level, so that we can match the demand and supply in a more accurate way. And also in terms of the very headache part, which is accounting and bookkeeping, we already have different platforms. I think we had some software or ERM system to help us before, but right now we have more, like say, simpler way to do it. It's AI-powered accounting and expense tracking, so that everything can be digital and automated. And also in terms of the rent collection and payment processing, there are also different platforms to help us to, for example, send a reminder, to predict some late payment, to prevent it beforehand, and also to process the payment. That is a little bit more like a combination of PropTech and FinTech, but yeah, it helps us to collect the rent on time. That is the main point. And it seems that so far, all these applications has nothing to do with ChatGPT or Gemini or any other large language models that we are using to process our daily work. But actually, large language models can also play a role in property management. For example, it can help us to generate the document or templates, especially the legal documents. If we have, it's even better if we have some records or the template of the legal document. It can help us to customize it or compare it. And also the large language model can help us to communicate to the tenant in a more intelligent way, because as we just mentioned, AI are very good at identifying the patterns, so they know how to communicate to each group of the tenants in what way. And then large language model can help us to collect the market data, analyze it, and give us the insight, so that we can have our smarter strategy to manage our property. And also, there are some administrative tasks in property management. The large language model can also help us to automate all those tasks as well. So here are at least a few tools that I used almost daily: ChatGPT from OpenAI, Claude from Anthropic, Gemini from Google, and NotebookLM also from Google. They are really very good at generating text and analyzing data and writing code as well, if you like a little bit of vibe coding, and compare documents and etc. So those are very useful tools in our daily work as well. So here comes to the considerations. So when we are looking at all the bright side of using AI and embedding AI in our daily work, we have to consider about the cost benefit of using it. For example, the cost factor to consider here is the initial cost for the software licensing and setup cost, or the staff training and change management cost, integration of to the existing system, because the AI are all very new and still updating themselves every day. So when we integrate them into our existing system, the ongoing cost might be also significant as well, and subscriptions and maintenance fees. All those are the cost factors that we need to think about before, let's say, completely adopted in our work. So then we can have a look at the cost and the benefit and see whether it was doing it. And there are some different methods of calculating the return. For example, the ROI calculation, we can see how many hours we saved by using AI, and see it compared to the cost, whether it worth it or not, or error reduction or tenant satisfaction, etc. So all these are the factors that we need to think about whether it worth doing. And also we need to think about the challenges of integrating AI to the existing system. because nowadays it's not all the paperwork. If it's just the paperwork, it might be the most straightforward way of using AI because we just use all the digital, we just make it all the digital method and use AI. But more or less, every company right now already have the some software or system already. So we need to integrate AI to those existing systems to make them work smoothly and together. So those are the challenges that we are going to face, and we need to think about the solution before largely integrating the AI. And to the legal part, we also need to consider about data privacy, especially the data that with the tenant. When we are dealing with the tenant's data, especially the personal data, we need to have a look at the privacy of the data and make sure that we are compliant with all the legal requirements and other considerations as well. And there are some change management tips here if you think about it, when we are going to implement AI, maybe we can just start small, begin with one AI tool in a small single area. For example, the consumer service. Just have a chatbot to communicate with the tenant real time, 24/7, to see how it goes and to see how those kind of questions and answers and feedback comes back to the system and see how to improve it. And then we might be increasing the adoption of AI to larger area or other aspect of our workflow. And also we need to track the KPI of using AI to see again whether it's worth doing it or not. And we need to also regular updates on the improvement and see whether it can really communicate well with both the tenant and the employees, sorry. And we also need to continuously, again, update and optimize the workflow based on the feedback because the AI tools right now are designed to be work in a very general way. Nothing is customized to one specific company. So once we are adopting it, we are actually in the need of optimizing it to suit our own use and of course to meet our tenants' expectation or the company's demand. So we need to collect all the feedback from the employees, whoever using it, and the tenants, whoever is actually indirectly using it, to see whether it works really well. And there are some success factors that we can think about when we are using AI. For example, it can help a lot if we have a clear communication to all the stakeholders so that they know that we are using AI or AI-powered platform or tools in our daily work so that they understand what it means. And also to provide the trainings to our employees and provide the supporting resources to the employees for them to understand how to use AI and how they can benefit from it. And we might need to make some realistic expectations of using AI and not to over expect. And also in terms of the management, we need some support as well when we are adopting AI tools in a larger scale. So this is just a brief overview of using AI in property management. So if you have any questions, I'm just here to answer it.
Well, thank you so much for your speech, Sherry. It was very
Yeah.
insightful. So we'll wait for some time here. If any of the attendees has a question, you can please raise your hand and then so that we know that you have a question and use the Q&A box to write this question there for us. Okay. So let's wait for some time here to see if anyone raises their hands. Okay. It seems there's no question, but this is no problem because if you have any questions, you can reach out to us and send out your questions by email. I'm sure that our team will be more than happy to answer you. And if you're, oh, we have one question here. Yes. The question, can you access the question, Sherry, or not?
Yeah, I can see
No.
it. I'm interested to know if there are any AI tools off the shelf for portfolio analytics. Uh, Hi, Faya. Thanks for your question. Although it's not directly related to property management, but for portfolio analysis, I think the large language models are actually very useful in doing it. But there's no customized AI tools for real estate only, specifically in portfolio analytics. But you can actually use it as portfolio analysis use if you are using large language model.
Okay.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah.
Thank you. Nice. Perfect. So we are open to discuss with you if you have any other questions about AI in real estate. And if you don't know yet, we have a course called AI application for real estate. Sherry is one of the instructors there. And if you want to talk about it, I'm open and it will be a pleasure. Thank you again, Sherry, for being here with us. And bye.
Yeah, welcome. Okay. See you then.
See you.